Hi guys, good night to everyone on my TikTok page. My topic tonight is I would like to uplift the black woman within the black community. So you guys will see written above this life, empowerment to black women. The reason why I would like to talk on behalf of this topic is because as I go through TikTok, I will be seeing lots of some black men. I don't want to say lots because I don't want to categorize it and say all black men, but I will see some black men making videos, and in these videos these men will be stripping or trying to degrade the femininity of the black woman. Some of the things they would say of the black woman, they would say that she's too loud, she's ghetto, and they would try to strip her or degrade her of her femininity. I understand that black men, for some odd reason, they are trying, to, I don't know why they're trying to do this. Maybe they're trying to make themselves feel as the dominant one by trying to use misogynistic statements in their wording. But some of these black men need to confront their internal biases, which are implicit, which are unconscious, and they need to recognize and realize that they themselves were birthed from a black woman. Okay? And they need to get it together. They need to uplift the black woman rather than break her, or try to break her rather. I understand that systemic racism plays an important part of the social relationship being disintegrated. I realize that. But at the same time, we as black people, when I say we, I'm talking about both men and women, we need to come together and help build this community rather than break it. Okay? I understand in the 1960s, within 1965, okay, there was a breakdown of the nuclear family, right? Whereas the homes, there were fatherless homes within the black community. Right? Because why? Some of these fathers, they were incarcerated, sadly. Right? And of course, some of them, they themselves were not getting employed because of discrimination. Right? I understand poverty as well. I understand the introducing of the welfare within the black community. Whereas, of course, some of these black women would have accepted the welfare, which would have been cachet and food stamps. And then when the father of that child get himself a job, the money's being taken out of his salary, which is the income is coming out of his salary to compensate back that income where the mother herself received that cachet or food stamps. So I understand all these factors contributed to the breakdown of the black community. But at the same time, what I'm seeing is a pattern. Okay? Before the 1960s, the nuclear family was intact. The black community back then, there was successful families before the 1960s. But after the death of Martin Luther King and coming into the 1965, coming forth as of today, a breakdown of the black community, breakdown of the nuclear family, the single parent household, the independent woman. How did the rise of the independent woman come forth? Because they are fatherless homes. Fatherless homes birth the rise of the independent woman, birth the rise of the masculine woman. Because where there is not a man in the home, therefore the woman herself has to become, meaning she has to do the traits or she has to do everything, meaning that she has to take care of the home, right? She has to feed the kids, she has to take care of the kids, she has to do everything. So of course she's going to show masculine traits, she's going to show feminine traits. So the birth of the masculine woman came forth because of the lack of fathers within the household, right? So we understand all these issues arise and cause the breakdown of the nuclear family, but at the same time we don't need some of these black men coming on TikTok spewing hate against the black woman. We don't need them degrading the femininity of the black woman. I understand that within the black community there are some toxic women. I understand that some of them are toxic, yes. Some of them are bad mothers. I understand that, but at the same time there are some, not all. I understand that there are some toxic black men, but there is not all. Okay, so we don't want to categorize and say that there are lots of pookies and raries. No, there are some pookies and raries. There are some toxic women within the black community. But at the same time, we want to acknowledge that we have a breakdown, or we have disruption within the black community. Because on one hand, we see in lots of men making videos and saying, spewing a lot of hate against the black woman, microaggression against the black woman. They don't like them, they're too loud. Texturism, the hair, the nappy hair, colorism. The lighter skinned woman is nice, much prettier than the darker skinned woman. We don't need that, guys. We don't need that. Okay, so these black men, some of these black men who like to use misogynistic wording or statements within their ideologies and their rhetoric, they need to start confronting those internal biases, those implicit internal biases, confronting them, and start uplifting the black woman. You black man, you were birthed from a black woman, right? Some of you black men who like to spew hate, you were birthed from a black woman. So therefore, start uplifting the black woman. Okay? I understand oppression. I understand all of that. And earlier on, I spoke about systemic racism. And I spoke about all these things. But at the same time, we understand racism do exist. And it still exists as of today. Right? I understand as a black man living here in the US, we have to work 10 times harder to become a supervisor, to earn a degree. I understand that. I understand that the black people, we are below. There is a chart, and the black person have to work hard. We have to work hard to survive. But at the same time, we need to have unity amongst each other. We have to have unity, and we need the woman, need the black man, to be there for her as a backbone. We don't need them degrading us. We don't need the black man degrading the black woman, but rather we need him to uplift her. Don't degrade her and strip her of her femininity. Don't do that. I understand you will have issues with some of the black women that you encounter a relationship with. But therefore, whatever issues you have, you need to deal with that, not on this app. You need to deal with that with a therapist. Right? You need to reevaluate yourself. Sit down with a therapist. Get some therapeutic help. Okay? And deal with that in that place. But not on this app. Not spewing the hate. But rather, we signed up with a psychologist, a clinical psychologist. Sit down with them and release that trauma through conversation. Right? And then we go through the healing process. That's how we deal with trauma. We don't come on the app and spew hate. That's not how you deal with trauma. You deal with trauma in a psychological forum with a psychologist. Okay? So I want the black community to unite as one. I want the black men to start speaking positivity within the black community. Speaking positivity to the black woman. Letting her know she's a queen. Okay? Not using texturism about her hair, the nappy hair, or colorism. The light-skinned women are much nicer than the black-skinned woman. No, don't do that. Okay, so uplift each other.